What are the 7 key battles that every nonprofit leader faces? This is a huge conversation, and it's about something that's very, very important. We are losing nonprofit leaders, and we can't afford it, not in this day and age. The stress level is like never before. What we're dealing with as nonprofit leaders is incredibly intense. And so I want to look at these statistics that have been given to us by the National Institute of Mental Health in their 2021 data report that allow us to kind of get a picture inside of what's happening within nonprofit leadership. And the truth is, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a counselor. I am a consultant. And the care of leaders is very, very important to me and to my team. And so we're looking at this. I'm like, oh, this could be a little negative. And no, we need to communicate it because we might touch on things that might be really helpful for you, especially if you're struggling as a leader within a nonprofit sector. So here we go. Hello, my name is David Higgins, and I help nonprofit leaders. I help people just like you learn about not just digital marketing, but everything goes around being a healthy nonprofit, getting ready for this next year. And my team here at Nonprofit Online, our hope is that you thrive, not just survive as a nonprofit. Today, we are talking about the 7 key battles of nonprofit leadership, and these are very important areas. And I'm not didn't make up this list. This list was one that was created out of concern from the Department of Mental Health and their 2021 statistics and their data. And so I want to share them with you because if these areas might affect the people around you, they might even affect you. And there are reasons why we do not have to be stuck there. We can move beyond that. We can grow, connect with the right people, get the right help, and be able to move past. So are you ready? Let's go ahead and start with number 1. Instead of going reverse order, we're going to start at the top of their list and take it from the top all the way to the bottom. The number 1 battle that nonprofit leaders are having right now is empty optimism. And empty optimism is something I've dealt with. I come from a family that has built nonprofits for my entire life. The day I was born, my dad was starting a new nonprofit. By the time he died at 81, there was over 750 schools, orphanages, churches, educational facilities that he had helped build or supported build. He'd raised millions of dollars to build nonprofits, and that inheritance of that and that concern, that love for nonprofit, has something that has just come into my heart as I was raised in it. I worked with him for 15 years as his own director, helped him with fundraising, managing, and supporting the goals that he had. And now in these years, I am working as a consultant, working to help you, and my team is working to help you thrive as a nonprofit. So let's have a look at what empty optimism is, because I have dealt with this. I was running a number of nonprofits, and I'm an optimistic person. And when I felt hopeless, I would be optimistic. I said, oh, it's not going to be a problem. But I was creating a problem. I was creating an empty that I suddenly started realizing I wasn't even believing the words coming out of my mouth. And in the desperation and the frustration of finding an answer, I had created a vacuum, a void that started my nonprofit that I was responsible for, and that my team and my volunteers started falling into that void. And instead of our nonprofit thriving, it was just holding on, and in some places starting to become less and less effective. It's important for us to understand that empty optimism is usually coming from a place of hurt, disappointment, or depression, a sense of being alone and loneliness. And so we declare things that aren't like we wish they were, but they're still not. And we need help in those places. I needed help. I found people around me that could help me tether me back to real data, real numbers, and how to scale my organization to the reality of where I was at and then grow from that. It's really hard to scale back as an organization. And I have found that I never liked it. I can't think of a single time I went, oh, we're going to scale back. This is exciting. But to be able to move forward healthily, scaling back is necessary. It's kind of like pruning. When you prune a tree, I'm sure you even use this allegory for your own communication. What you're doing is you're allowing the strength of the tree to focus on the proper fruit that is going to bring forth. And so there might be time here before 2022 starts for you to prune back. Don't do it by, say, oh, this is what I decided to do. Get counsel, get advice, get a coach working alongside of you that's going to allow you to know exactly where to prune and to be able to limit that optimism to areas that are truthful. And I know I never once tried to lie. I just try to be full of hope. And I know you don't want to be sounding like somebody who's lying, but full of hope or not an exaggerator. So let's not lie. Let's not exaggerate. Let's be realistic with our optimism. And that's the number one, empty optimism. Number two, lack of training. I've used this statistic before, but the majority of people that graduate from university do not learn anything new for the rest of their professional career. They just lean on what they learned. But that's deadly for us as nonprofit leaders. We must constantly be learning and upskilling because everything around us is moving so quickly. Even with what's taking place with the pandemic and moving through COVID-19 into a place, hopefully on the other side, not too long from now. But right now, we're dealing with the beginning. We're not even peaked yet when it comes to the Delta variant of it. We are needing to understand that the skills to be able to move through this next year are different than the ones that we had when we graduated from college. So we have to upskill. We have to understand that we need those tools and we need somebody who can help us map out or create a blueprint for what that's going to look like for not just us, but for our teams as well. Number three, values vacuum, a poor organizational development. Now, a values vacuum sounds like an accusation. I know if somebody said that to me, David, do you have a values vacuum? I would be offended. Hopefully, you're not offended with me. But I'm going through the list. I'm bringing a reality to the data that we are seeing that is hard data, real data. The values vacuum is that point where we are not being truthful about what we can accomplish. It's creating false goals that aren't able to be backed up. It's that place where we say something, but we don't know how we're going to do it yet. That area of organizational development needs to be where it is at. So when we say something, people believe us. And it's very important because what happens is we end up, it feeds into a sense of loneliness and a sense of depression very quickly if we allow ourselves to go down that road. There is a term I have actually on this desk over here. I have it printed out. I see it almost every day I walk in. It says this: rather the pain of discipline than the pain of regret. And in the area of a values vacuum, it is that place of being disciplined. Or how many times are we going to say I'm sorry before people just stop listening to I'm sorry? Number four, competitive blinders. I always have been involved with nonprofits where I thought, you know what, we're doing something no one else can do. When we're running the Performing Arts Center, when we're running the youth foundations, when we're running the music programs that worked with orphans and underprivileged children and worked inside foster systems, like we're doing something no one else is doing. We're pretty special. But competitive blinders, we're unique, and there's no one like us in the marketplace. That's a lie, because there's nothing unique under the sun. We may have found a new way of looking at it, but we have to understand the big picture. We can't just put our head down and forget that there's a whole life of nonprofits around us. In the state of Washington, there are 33,000 nonprofits. Now, not all of them are in the same sector that I am working in, and not all of them are in the same sector that you're working in. In America, 1.28 million nonprofits. There are a lot of people trying with all their creativity and their best to help people the way you are, and many of them in the same sector you're in. And guess what? We can learn from them. Some of them are doing things we never even thought of. We can grow together and allow ourselves to be able to be humble. One of the difficulties is the trap of narcissism, starting thinking the entire nonprofit and its ability focuses around us. And it's a trap. It's scary for people when they start realizing that we feel like we're the end all, and we can't allow ourselves to get there. We have to give away responsibility. Even when we think we can do it better, we need to learn from others, even though we think that we are doing the very best we can. It's amazing what we can learn by just asking the right questions. The number 5 is the inability to embrace technology. I was sitting down with a man who runs an amazing nonprofit here locally, and he looked at me very honestly and he said, "Technology terrifies me." And he was very honest, and I was very humble that he's willing to even be that direct with me. And he's not alone. Technology is terrifying to many in the nonprofit world because we are focused on the needs of the people, the needs of the animals, the needs of nature, the reasons why we were even created in the first place, the support systems that are going to allow the people around us to thrive. And we realize after a while that we were never trained in technology. We were never trained in digital marketing. We were never trained in computer analytics. And this is something that, okay, for me to go and do that, I have got to pull back on what I love. And you don't have to. There are ways that you can be, that you can create coaching around you and education around you that doesn't take away from the quality of what you're giving and allows you to learn a new language that is one that is done by 92% of people that are consumers in your community. And so embracing technology doesn't have to be 100%, but you can take it one step at a time. Education, one step at a time. And the more you know, the more you realize, oh, wait a minute, I can delegate that. Wait a minute, we're already doing that. We can just do it this way and be more effective. And it's a pretty exciting journey to be on. Number 6, mission creep. Have I dealt with mission creep before? Oh yeah, we can do that too. Sure, that's a need. We could probably put somebody over to there. And once we start doing mission creep, we become less and less effective in what our mission actually truly is. When I was at the San Diego Performing Arts Center working with all the dynamics there, because we were being very successful at what we were doing, and the material that we were creating was really great in that particular sector and what we're doing. We had a lot of other nonprofits come up to us saying, "Hey, can you help us in this area? And how can you help us in that area?" And it always was complimentary. I liked being asked to help others. I liked being told, "David, you're doing such a good job. Can you help us?" And the truth is, mission creep was always a temptation. And so we got really disciplined at saying, no, you can come look at what we're doing and learn from us, but we are going to have to stay focused on what we're doing right here so that we can keep doing what we're doing better and better and better. And we enjoyed the success we're able to see in the lives of the young people and adults that we worked with. And then the last one, number 7, becoming fixated by fear or depression. As a rule, nonprofit leaders would be lying to say they've never dealt with this if you've been in a nonprofit world for too long. We deal with real problems. We're struggling with real issues politically, culturally. We're being told no a lot. And because of that, depression can creep in. A real sense of battling by yourself, or people just don't understand. And that can be so dangerous because when we get to that place, we start drawing into ourselves. We start stepping into a closed office. We spending more and more time just doing what we know we can do. And as a result, we become more and more alone, more and more isolated. And isolation is the death of the leader. We cannot allow ourselves to get there. And it's important to say, ask for help. And maybe you today are listening to this and saying, David, I feel that's pulling on me, or David, I'm already in that place and I'm starting to feel hopeless. Like, even though what we're doing is so important, how can I survive to be able to be what we really wanted to be? And the thing is, you can. The truth is, we need you. We need you desperately, and we need your organization. We need what you're doing, and you need to ask for help. You need to speak to somebody in your circle, and to be honest. It's easy for me to say I see the problem and say I've been there, because I have. But I'm not the answer to your problem. You need to talk to somebody that's in your world, that's a counselor, that is a therapist, that is somebody that can sit with you and hear you and is actually qualified to give you the tools for you to overcome. I can give you a hug. I can say, man, you really, I understand. I've been there myself. I understand how fear can be crippling because things have happened that should never have happened, and we didn't ask for, but they happened upon us and our organization. But the truth is, don't internalize it. Get to people, talk to them, and get help, because you're needed. And what you have, especially for founders, what you founded was vitally important, because there was a need there. And don't give up, because we here at Nonprofit Online, we don't want to see you give up. We want to say more than anything that you can do it. You can make it happen. And we're excited for your future. We're excited about what you could become. We're not the hotline, though. We are the encourager to call the hotline, to call the people that you need, so that you can be the strength that your community and your nonprofit needs you to be. National Institute of Mental Health 2021 data report says this: 51 to 92% of nonprofit leaders are struggling with mental health. You say that's a big, strong stretch, 51 to 92%. But I'm telling you, that means over 50% right now. Because of the pandemic, because of the cultural and the political turmoil we are in here in the United States, it's hard to be a nonprofit leader. And if anyone understands, I do. Depression, loneliness, suicide, high anxiety are issues that are being faced right now by your peers, and maybe by you. And you do need to reach out for help. And I want to encourage you, make that call today to somebody that you need. Down below, below this right here, you'll find that there's some numbers you can call that allows you to seek that help that you want. Because I want to see you this next year smiling, telling me about the amazing things that you're doing online with your nonprofit, telling me about how you're helping more people than ever before. Income is more stable than it's been ever before. That is the future that you have. To be able to see things change in your community that you've been wanting to see change, because you have the resources to do so. We're here to say you can make this happen. If this has been at all helpful, please like, subscribe, follow, because we do want to be a voice of encouragement in your life as a nonprofit leader. Have a great one from here, the whole team here at Nonprofit Online. Have an amazing week. I can't wait to hear the great stories that you're going to tell us in the future. Bye now.